Hello, everybody. This is Frank from Frank's Clean Jokes. I've got three jokes about airplanes or jets. Two of them involve blondes. And then I'm going to talk about the Concord and the new XB-1 is the prototype for the new Venture, which will break the sound barrier. All right, so here we go. Here are the jokes. All right, a cowboy and a preacher are on a plane. They're sitting side by side, and the flight attendant comes around to take the drink order. And the cowboy says, "I'll have a Jack and Coke." So the flight attendant asks the preacher what he wants to drink. He said, "I'd rather be in the arms of an unscrupulous woman than have alcohol even touch my lips." The cowboy said, "I didn't know we had that option. I'll take what he's having." A blonde is on a plane going to Paris. She's in the economy class, and she goes up and sits in first class. Well, the flight attendant goes up there and checks her ticket and says, "Ma'am, you're going to have to go back to economy class. You don't have the proper ticket." She says, "I'm blonde, I'm beautiful, and I'm going to Paris. I'm staying right here." So the flight attendant goes to the co-pilot, and he comes back and has the same conversation with her. And she says, "Well, I'm blonde, I'm beautiful, I'm going to Paris, I'm not moving." So now they go to the next level. The actual pilot comes back there after talking with the flight attendant and the co-pilot. They tell him the situation. He said, "Well, I'm married to a blonde." He says, "I speak blonde, so let me go talk to her." So he goes back there and whispers in her ear, and she gets up, says, "I'm sorry," and quietly walks back to economy class. And so the flight attendant and the co-pilot want to know, "What in the world did you say to her?" He said, "Well, I just simply told her that first class is not going to Paris." All right, the next joke about a plane has to do with two blondes who had not seen each other in about a year. They were on a trip, sitting side by side, longtime friends. And when the Concorde first came out, that broke the sound barrier, they asked the flight attendant to go up and talk to the pilot and say, "Don't go faster than the speed of sound." And the flight attendant said, "Well, I don't know if I can do that." They said, "Well, we don't want this plane to go faster than the speed of sound." And she said, "Well, why not?" She said, "Because we got a lot of gossiping to catch up on." All right, now, Frank's classroom, and just some interesting information. All right, the sound barrier, to break the sound barrier, you have to go 767 miles per hour at sea level. What is the sound barrier? Well, the sound barrier, the sharp increase in aerodynamic drag that occurs as an aircraft approaches the speed of sound, which they call Mach 1. So Mach 2 would be twice the speed of sound. All right, I remember as a boy hearing the jets break the sound barrier, and you would hear a sonic boom. All right, here's the definition of a sonic boom: a loud, sharp sound caused by a pressure wave when an aircraft breaks the sound barrier. So the pressure wave goes out from the jet. And how about this? The people on the jet, the pilot and the passengers, they don't even hear the sonic boom, but the people on the ground do. They liken it to a motorboat leaves a wake behind it that the people behind it, the skier or whoever, has to deal with, but the people on the boat don't experience it. All right, the Concorde, which was from 1976 to 2003, 27 years. All right, it was built, and it was a joint operation between the Great Britain, the United Kingdom, I should say, and France. All right, they were designed for supersonic flights, transatlantic, Well, why? Because you could go from New York to London in 3 hours. All right. So the Concord plane, or Tupolev Tu-144, they exceeded the sound barrier. Military craft do, obviously. And how about this? Bullets and even the tip of a whip can exceed the sound barrier. All right. Now, they're coming up with a civilian-made XB-1. All right. It's a commercial airplane, and it doesn't produce a boom. And what they did is they did the flight over the Mojave Desert, near LA. So they're working on it. And on January the 28th, it broke the sound barrier 3 times. The people on the ground did not hear the sonic boom. And the XB-1 is going to be what develops into the Overture. So the new plane that's going to be out at some point in the future is the Overture. So the XB-1 did its trial runs January the 28th, less than 3 months ago. All right, now, a little bit more about the Concorde. The Concorde, as I said, can go from New York to London in 3 hours. And it actually averaged on cruising speed 1,354 miles per hour. And it had, I believe 2000, had a crash on takeoff, and all 9 crew and all 100 passengers and 4 people on the ground or in the nearby hotel died. And so then the last days of the Concorde were 2003. All right, the Concorde during its heyday was very, very expensive to take the transatlantic flight. It back then in 1990 or so was between $10,000 and $12,000 per passenger, which would be around $20,000 now. There's 18 of the 20 Concords that were built are in museums now. Of course, that one crashed, and then one was dismantled for some reason. All right. Now, the Concorde would normally hold 90 to 128 passengers. And now we're going to talk a little bit about the XB-1. All right. A jet is different than a regular airplane because a jet has one or more gas turbine engines. This flight was January 28th, 2025. The Boom Supersonic XB-1 jet. First privately developed civilian jet to break the sound barrier since the Concorde. Normally, you're not allowed to fly over the sound barrier speed, 767, over land. A civilian aircraft can't. Military aircraft can. All right. And on January 28th, they flew for 4 minutes over the sound barrier, and the XB-1 will become the Overture, and they already have 130 orders. 3 airlines have ordered 130 of them combined. All right. One of the advantages of the XB-1 is going to be it does not create an audible boom. They had to get special permission, I assume, from the U.S. government to do this trial run over land, like I said, over the Mojave Desert. And it was a specially sanctioned test flight. All right. They call it a Boomless cruise. So it's exciting what may happen, and it can cut down your time going on long trips over the ocean. All right. So if you like this video, please give me a like. And as always, sign up, subscribe. Y'all have a good day. This is Frank from Athens, Georgia. All right, bye.